All right, this is a screencast to tell you how to do a review of a book review. There's an assignment in assignments that says review a book review. The instructions are submit your 5 sentence review of a book review that was retweeted by Von Ranke over this weekend event. So that's what those days are. All right, the Thursday agenda, we talked about this in class. We talked about scope, method, argument, critique, recommendation. You're going to have a sentence about scope, method. You're going to have a sentence about scope, a sentence about method, a sentence about argument, a sentence about critique, a sentence about recommendation. This is what the book is about. What time period, who is covered, is it an intellectual history, a social history, legal history? You get the idea. Military history. Method is kind of a fancy word for kind of a simple idea. So method is what evidence did the historian consult, what evidence did the historian use to make their arguments, and how did they go about finding that evidence. Typically, historians go to archives and find primary sources like diaries and letters. Occasionally, they will do crazy things like use last will and testaments or tax records. And then also, almost always, they will use secondary sources to ground their work. So you're going to try and find methods. Sometimes it's not even really mentioned because it's kind of obvious, but you need to know how the historians found the evidence they used. Argument is the main claims made by the book. What is the central thesis of the book? So these are 3 things that kind of concern the book and the book author. The critique is the view of the book review author about the book. Do they have anything positive or negative to say about it? And finally, the recommendation is when they say this book should be read by everyone who breathes water. Oh, no, wait, breathes air. Or this book is largely irrelevant to anyone. Sometimes they're kind of mean. Y'all know that. Okay, so now let's look at Mary Beth Norton's Liberty's Daughters, The Revolutionary Experience of American Women, 1750 to 1800. There is kind of your scope. Down here it says 13 colonies, so you know it's all 13 colonies. And then in here it mentions diaries, memoirs, letters, and other contemporary material for better known classes, so elites, and then also the lower classes, the less articulate persons. These 2 sections are about the book itself. It has some critique, occasionally long-winded and repetitious. Frontier is scarcely mentioned. So those are some critiques in those couple paragraphs about the content of the book. This is the section that really talks about the arguments of the book, and it basically says that women became aware of the matters, but not a whole lot changed. There's a critique in here that says Dr. Norton points this out, but doesn't really explain it. And then finally, at the very end, there's a critique that says maybe the question of the minor claims and advantages gained is as interesting as the actual impact of the revolution, which is a big major diss on the book. But anyway, a typical review is going to have the first paragraph talking about the book, the scope, probably maybe the sources. Next couple, we'll talk about the content. You're going to find the argument usually in a paragraph, and then you're going to have some critique in there as well. The recommendation almost always comes at the end. This book doesn't have a recommendation necessarily, so you could say that the reviewer is lukewarm on it, if you wanted to. Of course, you can't review this one because it's from last week. But now I'm getting a little goofy. All right. Have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye.